Naomi had worked in the Everett family's mansion for 17 years. The house was grand and silent, full of expensive things that never needed fixing. The Everetts were distant, polite, but never grateful. Naomi's job was to make everything perfect: fold clothes a certain way, steam milk to exactly 65 degrees, align shoes toe first on mats. Yet, despite her tireless work, she was invisible. She lived in a cramped room under the attic eaves, where she'd write at night, her laptop hidden beneath the floorboards. Naomi didn't write to be discovered. She wrote because it was the only place she could speak without restraint. Her writing was raw and real, about her mother's hard life, about the years of erasure, and about a woman who had learned to disappear. She wrote to survive, not to impress. One morning, she overheard Penelope Everett talking about a new writing competition, the Sterling Prize. Penelope dismissed it, saying, "Everyone with a tragic past will crawl out of the woodwork." But something in Naomi's gut shifted. That was exactly the kind of voice the competition wanted: authentic, unheard, and raw. Naomi didn't hesitate. She gathered her chapters, stitched them together, and submitted paper skin anonymously. She didn't care if anyone read it, she just had to write. She wrote about the pain, the quiet suffering that no one ever noticed. To her surprise, someone did read it. A few weeks later, during one of the Everett family's dinner parties, Julian Chandler, a publishing editor, held up Paper Skin and praised it as staggeringly authentic. Penelope and her guests spoke about it as though it was sacred. They loved it. Naomi stood silently behind them, unseen, the truth of her words hanging in the air. Later that night, Naomi overheard them again. They spoke about the author as if they were searching for a ghost. They had no idea it was her, and she wasn't going to tell them. But as time passed, something changed inside Naomi. She continued to work, continued to serve. But now, there was a flicker of power inside her, something that would not be erased. Then came the night of the gala. The Sterling Prize had awarded Paper Skin the inaugural Unheard Voices Prize, and the Everetts hosted the event at their mansion. Naomi stood among the guests, watching them float through the rooms with their polished laughter and practiced elegance. Julian Chandler took the stage. "Tonight we celebrate Paper Skin," he said, holding up the manuscript, an anonymous voice that rose from silence. Naomi stepped forward, her voice quiet but steady. "I wrote Paper Skin," she said. "My name is Naomi Richards." The room fell silent. Laughter rippled nervously through the crowd. "She's the housekeeper," someone whispered. Naomi stood tall, unflinching. "I wrote every word of it," she repeated. Penelope's face went white, and Julian stumbled over his words. Naomi pulled out the drafts, the original files, dated months before the competition. She showed them the proof. "This is my truth," she said, "not a claim, just the truth." The silence in the room deepened. Penelope's voice cracked as she said, "Naomi, why embarrass yourself like this?" Naomi's reply was calm. "You loved my words until you found out who wrote them." The crowd murmured. Julian and Penelope tried to brush it off, but Naomi wasn't done. She wasn't angry, she wasn't sad, she was finished. "I didn't write Paper Skin to impress anyone. I wrote it to stay alive," she said softly, before turning and walking out. She left the mansion behind. The life she'd spent 17 years serving. She packed her things in a small suitcase, just enough to start fresh. The next morning, she took a bus to Camden, where a friend had offered her a spare room. The world outside the mansion was different, but it felt like freedom. Naomi's inbox filled with interview requests, emails of praise, even a cautious message from Julian Chandler asking to talk. But she didn't reply. That night in her new room, Naomi sat by the window, her laptop open before her. The cursor blinked, waiting for her words. This time there was no hesitation. She began to write again, not about pain, not about erasure, but about a woman standing on the edge of something new, something real. And this time, her name would be on the cover. "I didn't write Paper Skin to impress anyone. I wrote it to stay alive." If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful short stories that inspire, challenge, and stay with you.